So I was going to shoot this giant gummy bear with a sniper rifle and let you guys see it in super slow motion, but the guy said that the bullet would just go straight through it and it would look kind of shit, so we didn't end up shooting it in the end. But I paid 40 quid for this, so I'm going to do what every other YouTuber does and get millions of views by heating up a serrated knife and cutting it and seeing what happens. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm. Oh shit!
Oh my god! I just had to.
Fucking hell!
It could not survive. I can't allow this monstrosity to live any longer.
Look at that deliciousness.
Okay, I think it's dead. Next month, Sniper Elite 4 releases, on Valentine's Day nonetheless, and I was recently invited down a couple weeks ago to an event in Axminster to play the game and shoot some guns at a shooting range called The Tunnel. And I thought that I'd show you guys that just before we got into the game, the venue they had there was awesome. It was actually an old road tunnel that went through the mountain, but now the road goes along and a shooting range has taken up place instead. We got to play the game like I said, but also fire off some World War II sniper rifles on both the 35 meter and the 100 meter ranges, and we got to shoot some pretty cool targets as well. You won't want to miss that one, more on that later. So there were some iconic World War II weapons dotted all around the venue, and we first got to try out some small bore weapons on the 35 meter range just to become accustomed to the shooting. I even got to keep my target. The magic though happened on the 100 meter range, which I will show the result of in a little bit. Before that though, how about some shots of their armoury? Just a casual 50 cal sniper rifle there sitting on the side. Now in America that might be fairly normal, standard practice to go to a shooting range and fire off a 50 cal, but in the UK that's pretty unheard of, at least to me, and I didn't even know a place like this existed, especially in an indoor environment. At first I thought that was a replica, but I actually saw some people firing it, so it was pretty real alright. Mad really, but it was a great day out and a cool way to involve people a bit more in the game and kind of get them to see what firing a real sniper rifle was in real life, because as you know, if you've played any of the Sniper Elite games, it's all about, well, sniping. So what about the actual game then? Is it any good? Well, I was able to record one single player mission, the first one in the game to be precise, as well as a bit of co-op in the form of survival mode. The game is set in Italy in 1943 in the aftermath of the events of Sniper Elite 3, and you play as Carl Fairburn, who is tasked to assist the Italian resistance. I'm happy to say that what I played was pretty good. If you're familiar with Sniper Elite and specifically say the last game, then you're going to feel right at home here, although there are some key differences, mainly in the scale. The previous games were fairly linear. You move down a linear path and you've got a few options on how to take down enemies, but they're always still pretty restricted in what you can do and where you can go. In Sniper Elite 4, however, as you can see from this PC footage, it's a lot more open world now, leaving you with far greater choice in how to complete your mission. At the moment, I've got to take out 4 generals in separate locations around the level and then escape the island. I can do them in any order and then take them out in any way that I wish. I could snipe them from afar, I could get in close and melee them, and I can also use environmental hazards to take them out as well. When you use your binoculars you can spot enemies, which is extremely important and very helpful. What you can also spot though are environmental objects that you can use, such as explosive barrels, cranes holding pipes, statues, vehicles. There are way more variables this time around that you can utilise both as distractions and also methods of dastardly killing. What's important to remember with Sniper Elite though is that you can play it how you want. You can go loud and just run in if that's your thing, or you can play sneaky and take out enemies from a distance with a suppressor. That being said, you'll find it very difficult to play with the former style. This is a take that you're seeing now based around stealth. In the mission I played, I managed to acquire some silenced ammo in a tower that I passed, and utilising that to take out enemies will make your life a lot easier. And as well as that, just like in the previous game, you can use surrounding audio to mask the sound of your rifle if you time it correctly. Say a plane goes overhead, a little audio cue will come up on your screen telling you that your shot will be masked, unless of course you're playing on hard difficulty and you want the challenge of working it out for yourself. Either way, take the loud shot when this symbol comes up and the guards will not be alerted because they're not going to hear it. And talking of difficulty, as standard, you can utilise your iron lung, which is holding in your breath, and it will show you a little indicator of where your shot is going to go, and it will turn red if it's a kill shot. It aims to help people who maybe aren't that used to sniper drop, for instance. You can turn it off though if you want more of a realistic challenge. And I'm sure that when people think of Sniper Elite games, specifically they think of that gory slow motion kill camera. And as you can imagine, that's still here and just as gory as ever. Hit that perfect shot and you can see the bullet crush through the skull and watch it break into millions of pieces. When you say it like that, it does sound quite vulgar, but I guess it is just a game. Here's a bit of a thought though, how accurate are those slow motion gore kills? I wonder what it would look like if, say, a realistic ballistic gel skull was filled with a fake brain and was shot with a Springfield 1903 sniper rifle. It would be pretty interesting to see what that would look like in slow motion. And you know what? Here it is in all its glory. This is a shot that I took down at the range in Axminster. Absolutely beautiful. So when we were there, we did have the opportunity to fire at these realistic skulls, and then we got to take away the slow motion footage, and I just have to say it looks amazing. The Springfield 1903 though kicks like a mule, and it's not actually super accurate either, but thankfully we had a British Army sniper rifle at hand if we got into any bother. After all, the Springfield is now over 100 years old. It's been around the mill a bit, and well, it just didn't really work very well. Honestly though, this footage was taken on a 100-meter range and the sound of these rifles was incredible. Even stood behind, you could feel the shockwave as they fired, and you begin to realise just how powerful these actually are. Now, as I said at the start of the video, we did have the opportunity to take some stuff down there to shoot ourselves, and we all saw what happened to the giant gummy bear. Not actually that tasty, by the way. I bought cherry flavour because I thought, you know, cherry, it's red, it's blood coloured, it's going to look pretty neat. But the guys just said it wouldn't be worth it because the bullet would just go straight through. I also tried to get hold of a Nokia 3310 because I heard that they're indestructible, but I couldn't get one delivered in time, so we didn't do that. I had a watermelon and a pineapple as well, but we just didn't get time to do them, unfortunately. It was a fantastic experience though, so a big thanks to the Sniper Elite team for putting it all together. Like I mentioned before as well, as the single player and shooting stuff, we also got to try a quick round on survival, which I really enjoyed. And just to be clear, this survival gameplay is from the PlayStation 4 and the previous single player footage was on PC. So in survival mode, don't worry about stealth anymore. Your goal is to now survive waves of enemies while making sure that they don't control your command post. Gradually, as you progress through the game, the waves of enemies become much harder and tougher, and vehicles also start to spawn, but don't expect to take out a vehicle just by firing a single shot at one of its weak spots. It's going to be a lot harder than that now. The cool thing about survival though is that you can play it with up to 5 players, and there were around 12 waves to take on. Putting down claymores and finding intelligent defensive positions was definitely the key to surviving here, and as with any survival mode, if a teammate gets into a spot of bother and dies, you can pick them back up again. And this is the sort of thing that I could see myself playing for a bit when the game releases, and I can see it being a lot of fun for people with their mates. Survival or wave-based defensive modes are seen in a lot of modern games now, and providing that there's a good amount of variety with the maps, weapons and AI, it could actually be pretty cool. I really enjoyed the previous game, Sniper Elite 3. I felt like it was a big upgrade to the series, and so far with Sniper Elite 4, it seems that they've taken that base game and improved upon it a lot with more choices and more interesting ways to take out your enemies, so you know what? I'm pretty cool with that. I'm interested to give it a good go when the game releases next month. And that's all for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this early look at Sniper Elite 4. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and if you enjoyed the video, do hit that thumbs up. I love you guys lots, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.